we got to segue in to what has happened tonight in Providence with Arkansas knocking out the Kansas Jayhawks. And as is there on the screen, did Kansas really melt it down? Did Arkansas take it from them? And we now know St. John's, as expected, is the opponent. So this is St. John's against Arkansas, Rick Pitino's team against John Calipari's team. Ari, you covered St. John's all the way through the Big East tournament win. They had a trouble at the beginning of the game with Omaha, but they turned it on. And then at halftime, only a 5-point game, but turned it on in the second half. And now we know it is Arkansas, Ari and Matt. So let's tee that up around the room real quick. Ari, a thought?
Yeah, I mean, first off, Arkansas was able to adjust to the adjustment Kansas made today by going to zone, because Arkansas went on a run and then Self actually started a zone that really disrupted Arkansas offensively. But Kansas just wasn't able to execute down the stretch. I mean, what Hunter Dickinson, sorry. It just hasn't worked out for him, and for Kansas, he just didn't really deliver what they had expected him coming in out the transfer portal, 2 years ago. It just didn't happen. Harris has been there since the Ford administration, so I know he was probably disgusted by today, but Arkansas getting Boogie Flan back, and he played 25 minutes and down the stretch, especially defensively. On the flip side, they're going to be playing St. John's. Now, don't look at what happens in the first half ever again with St. John's, because it's irrelevant. Because basically they're scouting and they're trying to figure out how to they're like, I feel like they troll teams to get them to feel comfortable in a certain way. And then they just wipe you out in the second half. And they've been doing that all year long. And they did that again tonight against Omaha, which you're like, 5-point lead. And then they just completely decimated them. And it was just impressive once again. Like they were doing things where they were blocking shots, and like I think Aaron Scott blocked 2 shots. He didn't even jump because they thought that he was going to jump and did a pump fake and then went in, and he didn't jump both times, and he blocked the 2 shots without leaving his feet. It's just, again, it's Omaha, but just to kind of show you what they were doing, and then they just ran him out the building. So, Arkansas can build themselves a nice first half lead. It could be even double digits. But they better come prepared in the second half, because they turn it to 11, man, St. John's, every second half. And it's just the different ball team that you're facing.
Hey, Matt Zemek, thoughts on both. Is it more of an Arkansas win or another Kansas meltdown? And now St. John's is the opponent. Matt, what do you think?
Kansas, 6 turnovers in the final 4.5 minutes. That was a melt. That was a tuna melt with fries. It was 54-44 Arkansas, and then Bill Self throws the zone at Calipari. We've seen Calipari teams struggle with the zone before many times, and Kansas surges into the lead 67-64 with the ball, and you think, this train's pulling away from the station, and then Kansas just throws the ball all over the yard late, and those passes, it wasn't even a set up easy layups or anything. They were passes at the top of the key, 30 feet from the basket. There was just no point to throwing those passes. They weren't serving any higher purpose. And just that underscores the story of the season for Kansas. And this game reminded me of the 6-point lead over Houston with under 20 seconds left. And they threw that game away. Just the carelessness in end of game moments in that game against Houston. And I remember us talking about it a lot here on College Basketball Coast to Coast on our Saturday show in the middle of the season. Kansas never recovered from that. That seemed to be the dagger. If Kansas pulls through that game and wins, that team might have that familiar Bill Self confidence, that winning edge. That seemed to take the life out of that team. Just the air out of the balloon, sapped their confidence. They never really recovered from that moment. And tonight really was kind of just a fitting end because it recalled that particular memory. About Arkansas St. John's. Now, what Ari said is 1,000% correct. That having been said, one of these days, St. John's is going to be down 12 at halftime, and the shots aren't going to fall in the second half, or a player's going to get in foul trouble. I would highly recommend to the Johnnies at least be like even at halftime. You are not contractually obligated to fall behind by 10 to 12 points. So you might not want to chance it. And if that happens against Florida, well, you're in for a rough ride. So St. John's needs to get that fixed a little bit. Can't keep doing that forever. But it is so impressive how just the tsunami keeps coming. I know Ari, is well versed in Georgetown history. He remembers 1984 in the Kingdome, just the Hoyas absolutely swamping an elite Kentucky team in the Kingdome in the second half. But that was one moment in time. You can't expect to do that with machine-like regularity. St. John's is going to have to be a little more consistent in the first 20 minutes of a game.